We're live. We are live and happy Monday, everyone. Might be logging in from. It is so good to see you. Maybe this is your first time. Prayerfully, this will not be your last time. And I am so excited to see all of you here. Well, I can see your names. I can't physically see you all. So most people ask me all the time, why is book club so important to me? Why do you do this? You're so consistent. We never miss a book club. And that is because I've understood and I learned some things through my years, especially my years where I've had a lot of financial success, is that you can never earn more than you learn. And what I've also learned is that you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? And I want to say hello to YouTube. And I want to say, if you're live, y'all let me know to hit a one, right? Hello to TikTok. TikTok is with us today. We're super excited to be here. So leaders are readers. And that is another thing, that if you desire to lead in any capacity of your life, whether it's in business, whether it's at your job, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your church for ministry, whatever the case may be, leaders are readers. And the reality of it is this: we will never earn more than we learn. So those are the reasons why book club is so important. It's so near and dear to my heart. I hated reading. This will be a book club that is not like your normal book club, right? And so you make sure that you're tagging a friend, that you're sharing this with someone so that they know that book club is live. Now, we are currently reading Think and Grow Rich, and we're almost done. We're actually getting ready to start chapter 12, the subconscious mind, right? Chapter 12, the subconscious mind. This is the connecting link. This is the 11th step towards riches. Now, here's what's so cool, right? Here's what's so cool. What is so cool is that you don't even need to have the book, because I am going to read this for you. And so let's go ahead and start. If you've been with us throughout this entire book, go ahead and drop it in the chat. What have been some of your greatest takeaways? What has this book done for you? This book is a book that we've read before. Well, not on book club, but it's a book that I personally read before. But I will tell you that reading it with everyone, this book has come to life for all of us. All right. So I see you all are logging on from Michigan. Where else do we have people logging in from? I see Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. Let us know in the comments where you're logging in from so we can shout you out, right? We definitely want to shout you out. So excited that you all are joining us here. All right. So chapter 12, we see Indiana on the line with us, right? We are starting chapter 12. The connecting link, Austin, Texas is in the house. The 11th step toward riches. Philadelphia, and she says, I'm at work. So we're not going to tell on her, y'all. We're not going to tell on her, right? She's at work. We're not going to tell. All right. So the subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness. The subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulse of thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the five senses is classified and recorded, and from which thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. So what is happening? Our thoughts are literally being stored, right? And we draw them just like we would draw things from a filing cabinet. It receives and it files sense, impressions, or thoughts, regardless of their nature. You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, any thought, or purpose which you desire to. Translated into physical or monetary equivalent. So this is saying, listen to what the book is saying. Basically, we control our thoughts. And because we control our thoughts, that means that we control our outcomes. Because there are several ways that a person could look at something. You can look at it and only see the bad, Or you can look at it and immediately, say immediately in the chat, say immediately, hey, Miss Carol said mama is there, right? Mother Mary is on the line with us, right? So, Susan, how do you see the glass? It's like, do you see the glass half empty or do you see the glass half full? See, when I see things rise in my life, trauma, chaos, calamity, lessons, right? Because not everything that we believe is trauma is an issue. Some things, we run so much from things being tough in our life. It's like we want everything to be just smooth and just rosy and just perfect and just peaches and cream, as if things were like that, all peaches and cream and all creamy and all rosy, do you realize how boring that would be? Because we would never ever grow. We would never ever reach our capacity. So this is saying, consider the connection with the instructions given in the chapter on desire. For taking the 6 steps there outlined and the instructions given in the chapter on the building and the execution of plans, you will understand the importance of thought conveyed. But this says you may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, any thought, any purpose which you desire to. This is what the book says. That you may what? Plant voluntarily. So that means that everything that you think, you did it voluntarily. So when you think negative, you may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, any thought, any purpose which you desire. Y'all, if you fail, you've planted it in your subconscious mind because you planted any thought, any purpose, any plan, and you translated it into a physical or a monetary equivalent. Uh-oh. And the Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So I don't ever think that I can't do anything. And I've been placed on the spot a lot. I've walked into rooms, like, I was away this weekend at a conference, and I walked out of the room to go and do something that was asked of me. I walked back into the room. I had no clue what I was talking about and literally was put up in front of the room. And they were like, okay, now give us a script for such. And I was like, huh? Because I had no clue, but I didn't back down. I asked for a little bit of clarity. And once I got my clarity, I recalibrated my thoughts and I came up with a script. I come from that school with, if you say you are who you are, prove it. Right? And if I say that I am a #1 sales trainer and a #1 saleswoman, right? I'm #1 in what I do. Then if I say that I'm who I am, Lisa, right? Prove it. But I walked in. I wasn't planned, prepared, nothing. Like literally, I walked in the room and it was like, okay, Nina, I was gonna sit down. And then no, you're not. So you guys, anything. See, I can't walk around all day long in my life, Tedra, and say, I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. Not I can do some things through Christ who strengthens me. No, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things. So I voluntarily plant in my subconscious mind any plan, any thought, or purpose which I desire to translate into physical or monetary equivalent. So consider this in connection with the instructions given in the chapter on desire. For taking the 6 steps there outlined and the instructions given in the chapter on the building and execution of plans, and you will understand the importance of the thought conveyed. The subconscious mind works day and night. Some of y'all subconscious mind is working against you right now. The subconscious mind works all day, all night. through a method of procedure unknown to man. The subconscious mind draws upon the forces of infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes one's desires into their physical equivalent, making use always of the most practical media by which this end may be accomplished. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can listen. You may not entirely be able to control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, any desire, or purpose which you transformed into concrete form. You know, there's a good book that I read, Robin Ball. There's a good book that I read that says that I am a new creature. I am a new creation. That today, I don't care if I didn't know how to do something yesterday. Today, I am a new creature, a new creation. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. So here's the thing. If we give resistance to change and growth, you got to ask yourself, where did that come from? Because there's a good book that I read that says, I'm a new creation. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. Everybody type the word new in the chat. New. So even though we can't entirely control the subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind is influenced by things that are on the radio, on TV, things. I taught this weekend on triggers. So our subconscious mind, Keith, Tamara, our subconscious mind, Alicia, is somewhat, it's influenced by triggers. But we can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, any desire, or purpose which you wish transformed into concrete form. Key word, the master word, you wish. Read again the instructions for using the subconscious mind in the chapter on auto-suggestion. So we read a chapter in here called auto-suggestion, which let us know why people keep reverting back to the same habits, because the same thinking. There's plenty of evidence to support the belief that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of man and the infinite intelligence. It is the intermediary through which one draw may upon the forces of infinite intelligence at will. It alone contains the secret process by which mental impulses are modified and changed into their spiritual equivalent. Ruh-roh. It alone, is the medium through which prayer may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. The possibilities of creative effort connected with the subconscious mind are stupendous and imponderable. They inspire one with awe. I never approach the discussion of the subconscious mind without a feeling of littleness and inferiority due, perhaps, to the fact that man's entire stock of knowledge on this subject is so pitifully limited. I didn't say it. The book said it. That we can't even have a lot of these conversations because a man's mind, man or woman, the stock of knowledge on this subject is pitifully limited. Not just limited, Paul, but it says it's pitifully limited. And do you know why it's pitifully limited? Because most people don't want to change. Most people, it's cute to say things like, I really want it. I really want to grow. It's cute. It's cute. But when it comes right down to it, Our minds, we can't even have a conversation about the subject because it's pitifully limited. Your mind, pitifully limited. The very fact that the subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking mind of man and infinite intelligence is of itself a thought which almost paralyzes one's reason. After you have accepted as a reality the existence of the subconscious mind and understand its possibilities as a medium for transmuting your desires into their physical or monetary equivalent, you will comprehend the full significance of the instructions given in the chapter on desire. So here it is. We say out of our mouths what we want. I want this. I want that. I want to, I'm trying to be respectful the way that I say this. I watch people say that they want to upgrade their health or that they are looking to get physically fit. But then I watch them eat. I ain't here to judge. What I'm saying is what we say we want and what we do. Now, here's the deal. I'm almost positive that when people are around me, they're on a better behavior than normal. And I watch. I don't say anything. I just watch. And I'm thinking to myself, and then myself says, that people are typically on better behavior because they think I'm watching, and I am watching. I'm watching. Here's why I'm watching. I'm watching to see, are you lying to me or you lying to yourself? Are you lying in your post or are you lying to yourself? Like, I'm watching to see, does what this person posts about and talk about really match what their actions are doing? That's what I'm watching to see. Because a person cannot then ask me to coach them to the next level because they ain't ready. Because you're showing me with your actions that I don't even need to, like, I can barely talk as it is right now. Right? And I'm not going to allow people to keep pulling and pulling and pulling on a tired baddie when I can see that you really don't want better. And you show, and it shows up in the way, especially for those that are like, I want to lose this 100 pounds. I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to lose. And then I watch how you eat. This is not to beat you down. This is to tell you the truth. Because our subconscious mind, our subconscious mind, even at the time of the day that people, like, you don't sit down and you like y'all, I promise you, I watch. I watch. And I watch to see, I am talking the things, Lacey, right? Because I'm watching to see, I watched. So you will also understand why you have been repeatedly admonished to make your desires clear and to reduce them to writing. Do you know most people say out of their mouths what they want, right? I want to do this. I want to lose weight. I want to get healthy. But they don't really write it down. So it ain't really written down. So it's really not a goal. It's just something cute that we said, like, to sound like we're a part of the crew that wants to get their health better or really, really get back on track. And then we give ourselves too much time to celebrate and reward. But they're not in writing. With a date, not just in writing, but with the date, like, this is the date that I'm completing this, or this is the month. This is okay? So you will also understand the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. That's a whole nother, that some of y'all need to go back and read the book, Winning. and Relentless, especially for those of you that are not coachable. You think you're coachable, but you're really not coachable. Those two books, I promise you, change your life. The 13 principles are the stimuli with which you acquire the ability to reach and to influence your subconscious mind. Do not become discouraged. If you cannot do this upon the first attempt, remember that the subconscious mind may be voluntarily directed only through habit. So, if the subconscious mind can be redirected through habit, under the directions given in the chapter on faith, you have not yet had time to master faith. Be patient, be persistent. But you redirect the subconscious mind through your habit. So a good many statements in the chapters on faith and the auto-suggestion will be repeated here for the benefit of your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily, whether you make an effort to influence it or not. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily, whether you make any effort, not an effort, any effort to influence it or not. So whether you make any effort, Shammy, to influence it or not, your mind is a running. Subconsciously, telling you, even though you saying it out your mouth, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds. But you didn't write it down. You didn't put a date. So your subconscious mind is like, he ain't changed his habits. She hasn't changed her habits. She eating big old plates of food at 12 o'clock at night. How do we expect our body? I'm only using that one for now. There's so many other things that we could talk about. I'm just telling you what I witnessed. And I don't know. I'm at that point where we can't want it more for other people than they want it for themselves. So you go and you create a new regime. You find new people who want to be about it. That's what you got to go do. If you can't get a group of people to change the habit, because this says, remember that the subconscious mind may be voluntarily directed only through habit under the directions of, right? Then it says that it can be. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily, whether you make any effort to influence it or not. But it can be transformed by habit. This naturally suggests to you that thoughts of fear and poverty and all negative thoughts serve as a stimuli to your subconscious mind unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food upon which it may feed. So, I could very well decide, there was a time in my life, y'all, I wouldn't talk in front of people. I promise you I wouldn't. I wouldn't talk in front of people because I used to compare myself to my brother and my father. So my father can speak, not have to read notes. Same thing with my brother. I call my brother summa cum laude, right? My brother is very eloquent in the way that he speaks. And so because I used to compare myself to the two of them, and then I really, really started doing personal development, and I started to understand, Tedra, that first of all, comparison is the thief of joy. That's number one. Number two, I started to realize that although I may not be summa cum laude, right? My brother is so eloquent the way that he speaks. And that's his gift. That may not be my gift to speak the way he speaks. But now I realize, and not just now I realize, when I began to realize that I didn't have to compare myself and that there's a gift that I have on my life to reach a group of people that he can't reach, to reach a group of people that my father cannot reach. And although it may not be that they can't have an impact at all, what I'm saying is I got comfortable in my own skin. I got comfortable being Nina Moore. In the moment that I got comfortable being Nina Moore and stopped comparing myself to my dad and my brother, then I was able to walk in my gift and walk in my anointing. And God used me where I'm at. And now here I am speaking on platforms that are pretty significant. Me, the girl from the hood that can't always remember. I can't always remember what I want to say, so I write it down. I type it out. I put it in notes when I speak because I've realized now that having to have notes doesn't make me any less of a speaker than someone who can speak without the notes. So I am me. And I don't care how it comes out because I'm comfortable with my gift the way that it is through me, in me. Does that make sense, y'all? So naturally suggest to you that the thoughts of fear and poverty and all the negative thoughts serve you as a stimuli to your subconscious mind, unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food upon which it may feed. So I stopped giving it that food, Carla. I stopped giving my mind the food where I was comparing me and my brother, me and my dad. I stopped feeding my brain the thoughts that I was less than or that nobody wanted to hear what I had to say because I was a single mom and I had kids out of wedlock and my marriage ended in divorce. So what? So what? Because those are the things that make me great. Those are the things that make me different. And you know what I realized, Sally? Maybe this will be for you. What I realized is what made me different is my superpower. It's my superpower that I can speak the way that I speak. It's my superpower that I don't have it the way that everybody else has it. It's my superpower. And there's somebody, let me tell you something. If there was just one person that my message touched, then I did my job. One person. I don't have to touch the map. I don't have to be 1,000 people over there and 500,000 people over there. But there might be one person listening to me on YouTube right now. There might be one person on TikTok right now. Just one that I touch. And maybe my call is to the one. So I'm not insignificant. And what God has given me is not insignificant. It is very significant. My difference is my superpower. The subconscious mind will not remain idle. Uh-oh. So we're thinking that the subconscious mind is just sitting there idle. Oh no. If you fail to plant desires into your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts which reach it as the result of your neglect. Oh my goodness. Let me say that again. The subconscious mind will not remain idle. And if you fail to plant desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts which reach it as the result of your neglect. We have already explained that the thought impulses, both negative and positive, are reaching the subconscious mind continuously from the 4 sources which were mentioned in the chapter on sex transmutation. For the present, it is sufficient, if you remember, that you are living daily. Type it in the chat, y'all. We are living daily. In the midst of all manner of thought impulses, which are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. So imagine whether you are desiring it or not. In the midst of all manner of thought impulses, which are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. You are now engaged in trying to help shut off the flow of negative impulses and to aid in voluntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. So how do you shift this subconscious mind? How do you shift this thing? How do you make it make sense? How do you move out of one habit into another? How? You teach it through habit. This says some of these impulses are negative, some are positive. You are now engaged in trying to help shut off the flow. Type it in the chat. Shut off the flow. Let me tell y'all something. The moment that I said, I will no longer be broke another day of my life, the moment that I said, I will no longer be 300 pounds and over healthy and can't breathe and medical issues, the moment that I said it, I shut it off. I shut off the flow. You got to shut off the flow of the negative stuff that's coming in. You're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to be great. You're always going to be broke. Shut off the flow. The book says, shut the flow off. You know what? When we go to turn the water on, Paul, we turn the spigot, we turn the nozzle, and we shut off the flow. And sometimes we'll leave that thing on, sink on, right? We done put the stopper in the sink. And now it's just running. And it's just running. And before that thing topples over, you got to shut off the flow. So some of y'all right now are at that place where you've let that faucet run so long in your life. It's just running and running and running and running and running. Shut off the flow. Shut it off so that you can grow and become a better version of yourself by stopping these negative subconscious thoughts. Shut off the flow. You are worthy. You are amazing. You are worthy of abundance. You are worthy of love. You are. You are great. You are important. You are kind. You are victorious. You are created in his image and in his likeness. You are. But you got to say, I am powerful. I am great. I am kind. I am rich. I am above only and not beneath. I am the head and not the tail. Shut off the flow. Shut it off. These negative impulses that aid in voluntarily influencing, you literally got to shut off the flow. Somebody ought to, in the physical, take their hands and turn the knob and shut the flow off. I don't know about y'all, but back in the day, when we were kids, we would play outside with the water hose. And it got to the point, y'all, where when we were playing outside with the water hose, sometimes they would take the water hose key off of the nozzle, off the knob, so that we couldn't just be out there running the water. Some of you got the key hidden so you don't even know where you put the key in the drawer. Go look in your junk drawer somewhere. It's in there. And go get that key and put it back on the knob and shut off the flow. Because you're living in your misery. And you're living in the, well, this is the way I am. And you're living in the, well, this is how I do things. And you're living in that place. Shut off the flow of these negative impulses that have you in bondage. It has you in handcuffs. It has you in prison to who you used to be and the way you used to do it. Shut off the flow. That was amazing right there. And to aid in voluntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. So now you got to take a minute and you got to say, because you know, when you go to ask people, so what do you want? Like, what do you want? And you know, people will be like, I don't have a clue. I don't know. Because for so long, you've been practicing these negative impulses that you don't even know what you want. Shut it off. And I'm glad you said that. Evelyn says, sometimes I have to shut off TikTok when I started to feel like nobody cares about my content. Whether they care or not, it don't matter. It's just social media. And there are some people that hit an algorithm better than others. But that algorithm doesn't define who you are. Some days I get 30,000. Some days I get 100. That doesn't define who I am. You know what? What if we practiced gratitude and we said, you know what, Lord, I thank you for the 10 likes. Lord, I thank you for the 5 likes, even though they from my family and my kids and my business partners. You know what, God, I thank you for these 20 views. God, I thank you. And I know, God, that one day there's going to be, see, we trust him. We say we trust him in all things, but do we really trust him in all things? God, I thank you. I thank you for these little 2 likes over here. Shut off the flow. And stop thinking that defines who we are. That these likes and these follows and these this and this that, it does not define who we are. What it defines is whether people think your content is good or not. It doesn't matter. It means that there is still room for growth. God, I'm going to thank you for these little 50 people over here that, yup, I had 100 this day. I might have had 35,000 the other day, but today I got 100. And you know what, Lord, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop taking for granted because it could be 0. But I thank you for these 30 people that said hello to me. I thank you for the 3 people that might be on my lives. I thank you. Even in the small things, God, I thank you. Because everything that is big, let me tell you something. Everything that is now big was once small. Y'all, some of y'all missed it. Some of y'all missed it. When you achieve this, you will possess the key, which unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Moreover, you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind. You know, my cousin Kim, she went to a church. I don't even know if she still goes to the same church, but we laughed at her so bad, y'all. They did this thing in their church. I think it's like on a New Year's Eve service or whatever, right? And they were saying, give me my keys. I want my stuff. Give me my keys. I want my stuff. Chicka, chicka, right? And they were literally walking around the church and she was telling us about it and we were cracking up, right? But you know what? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's wrong with people. Let me tell you what's wrong. We won't do the physical manifestation, right? We won't activate it in the physical because we think it's silly. Do you know that many of those people that were in there with the keys and stuff like that started getting new houses and started getting new cars and started getting, you know why? Because their faith activated it. Their faith. So, you know, it's funny because Tanisha, we were talking about it this weekend and she was saying, you know, we are in the business and we're in business where our volume determines our rank, right? Which changes the income that we earn, things like that, right? And she's saying, you know, when people don't really hit it, it's because they really never intended to. It's as simple as that. When people don't go for it, it's because they never intended to. And because they never really intended to, which is why it's like, oh, okay, it didn't happen. You know, I'm going to die trying. Like when I'm trying, y'all, it is so evident. It's so obvious when I'm trying. When somebody's trying to get healthier, it's evident. It's obvious. It's evident when it's evident in what they're reading, what they're sounding like. It's evident in what they're doing. It's evident. It's evident. And so control that door so completely because you got to find the key. Everybody already type in the key. You got to find the key. Moreover, it says, when you achieve this, you will possess the key. When you achieve this, you will possess the key that unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. That no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind. The key, K-E-Y, key. Everything which man creates begins in the form of a thought. Everything which man creates begins in the form of thought. Everything that man creates begins in the form of thought. Everything that man creates begins in the form of a thought impulse. Man can create nothing which he does not first conceive in a thought. Through the aid of the imagination, Thought impulses may be assembled into plans, and the imagination, when under control, may be used for the creation of plans or purposes that lead to success in one's chosen occupation. All thought impulses intended for transmutation into their physical equivalent, voluntarily planted in the subconscious mind, must pass through the imagination and be mixed with faith. Mixed with faith. The mixing of faith without a plan or purpose intended for submission to the subconscious mind may be done only through the imagination. From these statements, you will readily observe the voluntary use of the subconscious mind calls for coordination and application of all the principles. Ella Wheeler Wilcox gave evidence of her understanding that the power of the subconscious mind when she wrote, "You never can tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love. For thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. They follow the law of the universe. Each thing creates its kind, and they speed over the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind." Oh, so you bring back and you draw everything that went out from your mind. So what happens is this. Here's what happens. Here's what happens. When you don't make a decision to go all in, and there is still that little thought back here in the back of your subconscious mind, when you're saying, well, I don't know, maybe I don't know, is this really gonna work? What if I fail? And because you're not really all in, whatever went out from your mind is what you're bringing back. Mrs. Wilcox understood the truth that thoughts which go out from one's mind also embed themselves deeply in one's subconscious mind. Because, I don't know. Is this really going to work? I don't know. And no matter what we say, we project what's really in our mind. And so whatever you're sending out into the world, whether you call it the universe, whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever you send out into the atmosphere, that is what you're bringing back. So when it's not happening, when we have these business grand openings and these launch Zooms, and you have nobody on there, it's because you intended to have nobody on there. Because it is what you put out. If you claim that you're losing weight, but then you're eating everything under the sun, French fries and fried chicken and all of that good stuff, that good stuff, what do you think is coming back on you? Pounds. Because it's what you put out there. Mrs. Wilcox understood the subconscious mind, right? Where they serve as listen to this, y'all. She understood the truth that thoughts which go out from one's mind also embed themselves deeply in one's subconscious mind, where they serve as a magnet, pattern, or a blueprint by which the subconscious mind is influenced while translating them into their physical equivalent. Thoughts are truly things for the reason that every material thing begins in the form of thought energy. Well, Nina, how did you lose over 130 pounds and keep it off? I thought it into existence. How did you change your financial status, Nina? How did you begin to grow a team? How did you begin to? The book says think and grow rich. You're telling us what you think because we can see it. No matter how we dress it up on the outside, No matter what we say out of our mouths, you tell us what you think because we can see it. You always late. You telling us what you think. The book says thoughts are truly things for the reason that every material thing begins in the form of thought energy. The subconscious mind is more susceptible to influence by impulses of thought mixed with feeling or emotion than by those originating solely in the reasoning portion of the mind. In fact, there is much evidence to support the theory that only emotionalized thoughts have any action influence upon the subconscious mind. It is a well-known fact that emotion or feeling rules the majority of people. Emotions or feelings or feeling rules the majority of people. We keep telling people ain't no feeling in finance. You can't be in your feelings and say you're gonna make money at the same. Like the two don't mix. So you know what? Let me tell y'all something. That is also a form of witchcraft. When you want to start being all emotional because you're trying to control people because you want them to feel bad because now you're emotional because you don't like what was said or done. That's a form of witchcraft. And you know, people use it in church a lot to be offended. Everybody want to easily be offended. Well, I'm offended. Really? Why are you so easily offended? Ask yourself, why are you so easily offended? Why? Why is it that everything somebody says, you got a problem with it, offends you? Oh, Nina, you know, she's so hard. Nina's not hard. Nina speaks the truth, and you're not accustomed to people speaking the truth. And so you take it as hard because she speaks the truth. And I don't season it. It's the truth. It's what it is. How do you expect to lead and you all in your feelings all the time? If it is true that the subconscious mind responds more quickly to and is influenced more readily by thought impulses, which are well mixed with emotion, it is essential to become familiar with the more important of the emotions. I was getting ready to go there because there needs to be some emotion. Emotion of action, emotion of faith, right? Let's go. There are 7 major positive emotions. Everybody in the chat, write positive emotions. Because there needs to be emotion, but not the kind that's not serving you. There needs to be positive emotions. And there are 7 major negative emotions. The negatives voluntarily inject themselves into the thought impulses, which ensure passage into the subconscious mind. The positives must be injected. So let me say that again. The negative emotions, Tamara, they are voluntarily. It is easy. Boom. It's just there. Literally. The negative ones, boom. You don't even have to try. But the positive emotions are something that you physically, mentally, emotionally have to inject. Okay? Through the principle of autosuggestion into thought impulses, which an individual wishes to pass on to his subconscious mind. Instructions have been given in the chapter on autosuggestion. These emotions or feeling impulses may be likened to yeast in a loaf of bread because they constitute the action element, which transform thought impulses from the passive to the active state. Thus may one understand why thought impulses, which have been well mixed with emotion, are acted upon more readily than thought impulses originating in cold reason. You are preparing yourself to influence and control the inner audience. You must prepare yourself to control the inner audience. You must prepare yourself to influence your inner audience. Do you know who your inner audience is? You, yourself, and you. It's like that song. It's just me, myself, and I. You must prepare yourself to influence and control your inner audience of your subconscious mind. In order to hand over to it the desire for money, which you wish transmuted into its monetary equivalent, it is essential, therefore, that you understand the method of approach to this inner audience. You must speak its language, or it will not heed your call. It understands the best language of emotion or feeling. Let us therefore describe here the 7 major positive emotions and the 7 major negative emotions, so that you may draw upon the positives to avoid the negatives when giving instructions to your subconscious mind. So the 7 major positive emotions are the emotion of desire, the emotion of faith, the emotion of love, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion of romance, the emotion of sex, and the emotion of hope. There are positive emotions, but these are the 7 most powerful. There are other positive ones, but these are the 7 most powerful and the ones most commonly used in creative effort. Master these 7 emotions, and they can be mastered only by use, and the other positive emotions will be at your command when you need them. Remember in this connection that you are studying a book which is intended to help you develop a money consciousness by filling your mind with positive emotions. One does not become money conscious by filling one's mind with negative emotions. The 7 major negative emotions to be avoided. Y'all ready? The emotion of fear, the emotion of jealousy, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of greed. I could have stopped. We could have preached a whole year's sermon on the first one, fear. Fear, jealousy, hatred, revenge, greed, the emotion of greed, the emotion of superstition, and the emotion of anger. Positive and negative emotions can not occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. And the problem is that we allow the negative emotion to dominate faster and more prevalent. It is your responsibility. On the other, one or the other must dominate. It is your responsibility. I gotta stop right there because we hate taking responsibility for our own actions. The book says it is your responsibility. So I think we all should say, it is my responsibility. Go ahead and say that out loud. It is my responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. It is your responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. Here, the law of habit will come to your aid. Form the habit of applying and using the positive emotions, and eventually they will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. Can I repeat the positive emotions? Desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope. Desire, faith, love, sex, enthusiasm, romance, hope. Eventually, they will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. Only by following these instructions, literally. Okay. So y'all might think I be making this stuff up. I want y'all to know, like in the book, it says, only by following these instructions, literally, like the book says it. This is not what I'm saying out of my mouth. I only stop every now and again to kind of make sure you understand what the author is saying. But the book says, only by following these instructions literally and continue it, meaning over and over and over again. So that means that you have to follow these instructions for real and forever? Can you gain control over your subconscious mind? Because whatever's going on in that little mind of ours right now, it's not serving us. Get rid of it. Most people are only going to listen to the point that it no longer makes them comfortable. Like they listen to a degree. They're not doing it all because I don't feel like all that. Not coachable. I just, excuse me. I just want to, excuse me. I just want to hate to break the news. You're not coachable. When you can only be coached to a certain degree, you're not coachable. The presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. I didn't say it. The book did. It says the presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient, Robin, to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your constructive mind, subconscious mind. So what that's saying is, if you got a little bit of like a little, an ounce, like a millimeter, a period, a dot of negative in your conscious mind, it is sufficient enough to destroy all of the chances of you having constructive aid in your subconscious mind. If you are an observing person, you must have noticed that most people resort to prayer only after everything else has failed. So we ain't praying until everything else is failing. Or else they pray by a ritual of meaningless words. And because it is a fact that most people who pray do so only after everything else has failed, they go to prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt, which are the emotions of the subconscious mind acts upon and passes on to the infinite intelligence. Likewise, that is the emotion which infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. If you pray for a thing, but have fear as you pray that you may not receive it, or that your prayer will not be acted upon by infinite intelligence, your prayer will have been in vain. Prayer does sometimes result in the realization of that for which one prays. If you ever had the experience of receiving that for which you prayed, go back in your memory and recall your actual state of mind while you are praying. And you will know for sure that the theory here described is more than a theory. The time will come when the schools and the educational institutions of the country will teach the science of prayer. Moreover than prayer may be and will be reduced to a science when that time comes, it will come as soon as mankind is ready for it and demands it. No one will approach the universal mind in a state of fear for the very good reason that there will be no such emotion as fear. Ignorance, superstition, and false teaching will have disappeared, and man will have attained his true status as a child of infinite intelligence. A few have already attained this blessing. All right. You know what, y'all? I got 1 page left. Y'all want me to finish this so we could be done with chapter 12? Literally, there's like 1.5 page left. Y'all let me know if you want me to go ahead and finish this, because it only makes sense to me. It only makes sense, right? Paul said I don't need to ask y'all that. There's 1.5 pages, and I know we're right at 7 o'clock, but I think that we need to go ahead and finish this, okay? If you believe this prophecy is far-fetched, take a look at the human race in retrospect. Less than 100 years ago, men believing the lightning to be evidence of the wrath of God and feared it. Now, thanks to the power of faith, men have harnessed the lightning and made it turn the wheels of industry. Much less than 100 years ago, men believed the space between the planets to be nothing but a great void, a stretch of dead nothingness. Now, thanks to the same power of faith, men know that far from being either dead or a void, or a void, the space between planets, are very much alive. That it is the highest form of vibration known, excepting perhaps the vibration of thought. Moreover, hold on, I cannot skip over that. Do you hear that this says that the space between the planets, success, the space between the planets, do y'all hear this? Is the highest form of vibration, perhaps, except perhaps the vibration of thought. I need Paul. The space between the planets. Like, we read over stuff and we just read it. We don't even, do we hear what this is saying? The space, let me go back. Listen to this. Much less than 100 years ago, men believed the space between the planets to be nothing but a great void, a stretch of dead nothingness. It says now, thanks to the same power of faith, men know that far from being either dead or a void, the space between the planets is much alive. It says that it is the highest form of vibration known, accepting perhaps the vibration of thought. Your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, vibrate higher than the space between the planets. And hold on, you guys, in order for us to finish on TikTok, because after an hour, we want to make sure that you're still there. I gotta put a little puzzle piece in there so we can continue on TikTok. All right. And look at this, trying to update my thing. Not right now. We not doing that. Okay. So imagine that. Your thought. You're waiting for something. You're waiting for God to do something. You're waiting for God to bless you with a team, and you're waiting for God to bless you with money, and you're waiting for God to do it. And he's saying, I'm waiting for you to believe that you can do it. Think it. Think and grow rich. Think it. Think. There was a song when we were growing up. Think about the things that he's done. Think on it. Right. Think, 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 think. Yes. Think on these things. The Bible says it. It says it. Why are we not doing what the Bible says? Why are we not doing what the Bible says? Only in church, but we don't do it in our businesses. We don't do it in any other facet or form of our lives, just sitting up in church. That is some deep stuff to me. I couldn't even keep going because this said, except perhaps the vibration of your thought. Moreover, men know that this living, pulsating, vibratory energy, which permeates every atom of matter and fills every niche of space, connects every human brain with every other human brain. What reason have men to believe that this same energy does not connect every human brain with infinite intelligence? There are no toll gates between the finite mind of man and the infinite intelligence. The communication costs nothing except patience, faith, persistence, understanding, and a sincere desire to communicate. Moreover, the approach can be made only by the individual himself. Paid prayers are worthless. Infinite intelligence does no business by proxy. You either go direct or you do not communicate. My God, you may buy prayer books and repeat them until the day of your doom without avail. Thoughts which you wish to communicate to infinite intelligence must undergo transformation, such as can be given only through your own subconscious mind. The method by which you may communicate with infinite intelligence is very similar to that through which the vibration of sound is communicated by radio. If you understand the working principle of radio, you of course know that sound cannot be communicated through the ether until it has been stepped up or changed to a rate of vibration which the human ear cannot detect. The radio sending station picks up the sound of the human voice and scrambles or modifies it by stepping up the vibration millions of times. You don't see the frequencies that they're sending out. You can't even hear the frequencies that they're sending out, but you hear the product of the frequencies and the vibration, and that is the beautiful sounds of the music that are going out throughout the transmutation of this energy of vibration. What are you vibrating out? What are you sending out into the atmosphere? Because what you're sending out is what you're getting back. What you're sending out is what you're getting back. Which is why 2 people, 3 people, 10 people can get the same instruction, and only 1 or 2 will actually have success at it. Because what are you really sending out? Your subconscious mind is telling us what you really are sending out. I believe that every single day that I am going to earn $100 a day in my business from one person. And every single day it happens. I don't even post about it. I don't even post about it. Every single day it happens. You know why? Because I believe it. And I believe it in a way, y'all, I believe it. There ain't no doubt about it. It's the frequency that I send out into the atmosphere. Whether I was home or not, it was happening. With no product in Florida, well, once we got there, we got some, right? But Paul forgot. He had packed the truck up and forgot our little tote. And it didn't even matter. I said, guess what? It's still going to happen. And Paul, did it or did it not? And it kept happening. And he kept seeing the invoices coming in with no product because it didn't matter. Now, here's the deal. Oh, let me say this. I could have immediately got an attitude. And I believe that how you respond. Now, for a hot second, I was like, what? I asked you more than one. I asked you more than one time. And immediately I decided, accidents happen. And I sat there saying to myself, God gives us grace and you give him grace. And he did accept responsibility. But I definitely could have changed the frequency of them orders coming in by my attitude. And I decided it wasn't worth an attitude. I decided, Tedra, it wasn't even worth going down the rabbit hole for. I decided that a second was too long. Let it go, Nina, because you do not want to keep orders from coming in. Okay? So, only this way, it says the radio's announcement, only this way, after this transformation has taken place, the ether picks up the energy, which originally was in the form of vibrations and sound, carries that energy to radio receiving stations, and these receiving sets step that energy back down to its original rate of vibration so it is recognized as sound. So imagine this, Tedra, Alicia, Tracy, these sound patterns, these vibrations are transmuted along, there's just frequency traveling. And then once it gets to where it needs to, once the signal gets where it needs to go, it is then transmuted. It's literally goes back down to its original rate of vibration so that it can then be recognized as sound. Because while it's traveling in a place where none of us can understand or hear it, these sound wave signals, we don't understand it or hear it. Once the frequency gets where it's got to go, it then goes back down into its original rate of vibration. So now we can hear it as la 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 la. Right? Now we're hearing it as music. The subconscious mind is the intermediary, which translates one prayers into terms which infinite intelligence can recognize, presents the message, and brings back the answer in the form of a definite plan or idea for procuring the object of prayer. Understand this principle, and you will know why mere words read from a prayer book cannot and will never serve as an agency of communication between the mind of man and infinite intelligence. I'm going to say what he really meant to say right here is he meant to say the mind of man and the mind of God. But he was trying to keep it political because this is just a book. Before your prayer will reach God, this is a statement of the author's theory only. It probably is transformed from an original thought vibration into terms of spiritual vibration. I believe this too. Faith is the only known agency which will give your thoughts a spiritual nature. Faith and fear make poor bedfellows. Where one is found, the other cannot exist. I hope y'all got that. This says where one is found, the other does not exist. So the next chapter is chapter 13. We're going to talk about the brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for your thought. And then guess what? We'll only have we might actually be able to get through 13 and 14 next week, or most of 13 and some of 14. And then we got chapter 15 and we'll be done. So we'll be done this book in the next 2 weeks. And I'm here to tell you, this says where one is found, the other cannot exist. So for all of you that think that you got faith, but then there's like that little inkling of fear, I'm sorry. And I hate to burst your bubble or be the bearer of bad news. Faith and fear cannot exist in the same place. Faith and fear cannot exist in the same place. So you think that you're walking around with faith, and I'm here to tell you that the Bible says it, and so does Think and Grow Rich, that the two cannot lay in bed together. All right, you guys. So listen, I don't know about you, but today has totally fired me up. So I got to get off of here because I've got a team, a team training in 45 minutes, you guys. But listen, it's been real, and we will be back here next Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for chapter 13 and some of 14 of Think and Grow Rich. So you got to remember that no matter what's going on in your life, please remember that you can live again, laugh again, hope again, dream again, and you most certainly can bling again. So I want you to have a bling-tastic rest of the evening. Have a bling-tastic week. Pay it forward, do a good deed, and be kind to one another. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. If you are not subscribed, go ahead right there and subscribe to Bling TV 3765 so that you never, ever, ever, ever miss a book club or any of the other events that we're having, you guys. And also, listen, if you want to be a part of my community and you want to be a part of where I'm helping women understand and realize that their beauty is really from the inside, it is not external. And then I'm helping them to have a better health with their body and then that bank account as well. Make sure you go ahead over to www.beautybodyandbank.com and answer the questions, or you will not be added to that group page that I am just now starting to formulate. We're going to have some fun in that page. Those that know me know that I love having fun. All right. And so stay tuned as we're building out that community of women. Make sure that you go over there and join www.beautybodyandbank.com. And before you get off of this book club today, what I need you to do is use the hashtags. Please make sure that you use the hashtags in the comment. And they're going to, in the comments section, and it's going to come up right now. It is BookTube, Goodreads, and BookTok. All right. Send those, do that for me as a favor, right? For serving you in this totally free platform. I love book club. So I need you to use the hashtag BookTube, Goodreads, BookTok, and listen, invite a friend. All right. And always remember that I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Good night, and God bless you all.